The final driver reveals of the F1 Clash 2024. Well, we maybe await the legendary drivers. I haven't heard anything of them yet, unless they get announced by the time I've already done this recording. But we're about to get into two of the biggest teams in F1 and F1 Clash. We have got the ever popular Ferrari drivers, and we've got the current dominators, Red Bull, holding some of the best drivers on the grid and what sets to be F1 Clash. They certainly were good in 2023, but will these drivers be good in 2024? But first of all, let's run you through the first drivers, Ferrari and then Red Bull, and after that we will go through the complete review of comparing these drivers to last year. Are they going to be good? Are they going to be usable? Well, let's find out. But let's start with Ferrari. So that is Ferrari. I know it's quick, but we'll go through the cards anyway. And then we move on to the biggest team, arguably at the moment. They're dominating anyway, Red Bull. So I'll run you through one more time Red Bull, because it only came up once. So some very interesting stats that we can already see in there. But before we get to the big ones, let's run you through the commons, rares, etc. We will start with Carlos Sainz common cards. What's his go-to stat this season? Then by the look of it, it looks like it is going to be potentially his defending. So his defending is at 55, overtaking 40. His tyre management only 35. His tyre management was pretty strong last season, so that has changed dramatically. Obviously they've brought the cards down on commons and rares, so they are going to be worse anyway. Series 4, he was Series 4 last season as well. Not a great card. Pretty balanced, but his tyre management is the one that takes a real hit. Now, Carlos Sainz up there in Series 8, so not one of the best rare cards, because Series 9 rares are going to be the better ones. We have got, then, let's take a look, 57 overtaking, so quite low. We've got good defending, 72. His race start seems okay in his rare form at 67, with his qualifying at 62. And his tyre management still a quite low 52. So I think Carlos Sainz is a lot better than what they're making him out to be here. I don't think he's quite that bad at overtaking, and tyres, but hey-ho. You can see last year his best stat was his qualifying, because he was a very good epic qualifier as well. So Hutch have really rebalanced and going to get everybody thinking again. Comparing that to last year, as we said, 95 qualifying in the 2023 season, now down at 85, so he's lost 10 on that. You can see his tyre management was good last season at 91, now only 75. His strongest point is his defending, but we know at the moment defending and overtaking stats don't matter too much. Will they in F1 Clash 2024? I like Sainz. I think he deserves a little bit better. Qualifying 85, race start 90. There's a lot better drivers out there, of course, in Series 12. So I don't think he's going to be used long term or at the end of the game unless there is 10% boosts, etc. But he's still pretty balanced. He'll be okay in duels for that race start. But then we move to the lead Ferrari driver. We move to Charles Leclerc. Now he is one of the strongest drivers in terms of Series 12. Let's check what his strongest stat is this season. So if you want to use Charles Leclerc, you could potentially going to be looking at defending as well, according to this. Then that's interesting. I mean, maybe Ferrari don't beat Red Bull, but they defeat everybody else, so that makes their defending stats higher. Who knows? Low overtaking for Leclerc. Defending at 59. Qualifying seems okay, 54. A little bit lower race start and tyre management 44. Now, as you can see on the right-hand side, Leclerc last season, aka 2023, very balanced stats, whereas that's a big drop-off for Charles Leclerc on the common overtaking. Now, in the rare form, one of the best Series 9 cards that you'll get up with Verstappen's, Hamilton's, Alonso's. 57 overtaking, it's a lot less still. Defending still higher at 77. His qualifying 72. So qualifying is okay by the looks of it, with a race start that's a little bit poor at 67 and tyre management at 62. So he'll be okay up to like Series 9 contender. Not great though at all. I'm a bit disappointed with Charles Leclerc, but could he make it back up in the Epic? Because obviously he'll be one of the best Epics you would have thought on the game. And here he is, Charles Leclerc. So, overtaking is lower. Not too fussed about that when it comes to his Series 12 Epic. His defending is quality. So he could be like a roadblock if he has got, and it matters, that defending. Qualifying and race start. Now, qualifying up at 94. Now, let's actually just compare these to Max. Sorry. So he had 99 defending this year. Let's go back a few slides. 93 overtaking. He's dropped massively on overtaking. Defending is the same as this year. Qualifying, though, this year he had 97. So he's dropped a little bit on the qualifying front. Maybe that's because he can't beat Red Bull, or he doesn't get pole very often. Race starts, well, 87 this year, 89 now. So he's moved up on the race start. And his tyre management down at 84. We'll get used to clicking Max one day, honestly. So overall opinion of Leclerc, I think is going to be okay, depending on what you've got. Kind of reminds me of Carlos Sainz from this season in terms of his Epic. But 94 qualifying will see him usable. It's going to really depend on what you have available with your driver upgrades. But qualifying, 94, race start can always be boosted. It just depends how much qualifying does impact your car with its car stats, driver stats, and even if it might get confirmed, even if speed cornering does still affect qualifying or it doesn't. Very interesting indeed. Let's move to the last team and Sergio Perez then. So Sergio Perez, when we find his common, will be Series 4 last year, Series 4 this year too. Now let's look at his overall stat. They look pretty balanced off the picture. Overtaking looks fairly good. That's probably because he always qualifies poorly and has to come through the field. 55 overtaking, low defending. Qualifying at 40, probably expect that. Race start 35. Perez does naturally come through the field more and start further back, doesn't he? So I think that's quite a realistic one. Last season, his defending was the highest and he was fairly balanced across the board. A little bit like a Charles Leclerc in a way. Perez, rare then. Series 8 then for Sergio Perez as we go and find his rare driver. Overtaking 72, defending 62. He's got balanced qualifying and race start in the 50s and he's got good tyre management as well, 67. Last year, again, defending was his strong point, tyres wasn't. Qualifying, his race start taking the hits. Not looking too strong. You're always going to use them Series 9 rares over him. And then finally, Sergio Perez Epic before we get into Max. Sergio Perez Epic. Let's take a look then. So, Series 11, remember, he's got really good overtaking at 95. That's strong for him. 85 defending, but what lets him down is his qualifying and race start. Only 80 qualifying, only 75 race start. Good tyre management though. So again, unless this is your best driver on unlock and levels, you're not going to be using Sergio Perez. Only Series 11, like he was this year, and he's only got 80 and 75 race starts. You can see on the right-hand side, Series 11 Perez from this year had 89 qualifying and 91 race start. A lot better. So there's a real big gap forming between what I would call the Season 10, Season 11 epics and the Series 12 epics. But who's ready for Max Verstappen then? We've already seen him in the preview, but here we go. Max, let's bring it home, shall we? Max Verstappen common, expected to be one of the best parts on the game. Look on the right-hand side then. So his stat best this year's season, 2023, was his qualifying at 69. Now, in the current version of Max Verstappen on his common, he's got 59 overtaking, 44 defending. His qualifying is not as strong though, only at 54. Race start very low. His race start only 39. That's a massive drop. Could this make Max Verstappen not that usable? And tyre management at 49. That is a drop. Now, Max Verstappen rare version, both Series 9s. 77 overtaking in the new one and low defending at 62. Qualifying at 72. So you can see a lot less stats on these rares, it seems. Race start very low at 57. He is going to be great for GP if you have got race start boosts. If you are using rare drivers, maybe attacking contender. Race start just so low though. It worries me for the Epic, and tyre management only at 67. Not great. And then the Epic Max Verstappen, known as one of the best drivers on this game for F1 Clash 2023. Here he is. Now, we have got a 10% boost, so I'm going to kind of leave him at a 15% boost. We're going to kind of leave him at it is and compare it rather than looking at maxed. But Max Verstappen at the moment, he's usually been pretty good at defending, and he's usually good at tyre management and overtaking. It's just changed it up, and it's all down to this race start. Now, Max Verstappen didn't have a strong race start massively in F1 Clash 2023. They've carried that through into 2024. Overtaking 99, defending 84, qualifying 94, race start only 79, and tyre management 89. Now, to me, his qualifying is going to be fine at 94. If we need overtaking, we're going to be selecting Max Verstappen. However, race start can be boosted, but there's Lando Norris out there, I think it was, who's got 99 qualifying. He's going to be the one that you're picking GP, we would think, dependent on how much the car impacts. I'm a little disappointed with Max Verstappen Series 12. That race start is poor. And personally, I don't see him get beat off the line too many times in F1. So, with that being said, I think that's quite a little bit of a low ball from Hutch, and definitely opens us all up to be using different drivers other than simply the best in F1, Max Verstappen. Very interesting at all. Let me know what you think of that Max Verstappen down below. I think it's a little bit low, but let me know what you think. Liveries for the game though. Here is Ferrari, ever popular. I think this and maybe the livery of Kick be used the most. And then we've got the Red Bull one as well. Kind of quite bland, I think, actually, the Red Bull for this year. And that will be in this season's Pit Passes Premium, I imagine. So let me know what you think down below. Red Bull Ferrari drivers done and dusted. That is it for driver reveals. But I expect there's got to be a legendary driver release, surely, at some point.